Today is a beautiful day, and in this video I will talk about how traveling healed me and the aspect of that. I will tell everything I know about how things has really shifted in my life and how I grown as a person and how I overcame things and such like that. I should be really honest. In the beginning, I didn't really know who I was. I didn't really know myself, I didn't understand myself, and I could not see my capabilities. Like, I experiencing life as it. Imagine yourself having all of the things inside of you already, but you just need to experience things in life, and when you do, it kind of like unlocks inside of you, and when you done that, you kind of like have that experience, and all of a sudden you are a new and different person. I also didn't understand how capable I was of doing things until I was set in a situation where I was like, I am somewhere completely random in Mexico and I'm outside somewhere and I need to make my life happen. I didn't understand how capable I was, and therefore when you travel, you see how much potential you actually have. And when you put that into practice, into doing something, and all of a sudden you become a version of yourself that you didn't even thought was possible even. Honestly, I didn't really know what I liked or didn't like. I thought I liked lemons, for example, but maybe I liked lime. I thought that I liked certain things, but when I got out in the world, all of a sudden I realized that, you know what? I actually like this thing that I just found. That healed my mind, because all of a sudden I could feel that there was something more out there that was more aligned with me, and not just the things in the place where you live in your country or I live in my country. I come from Sweden, and I mean in Sweden, they don't have San Pedro. I think, yeah, this is a massive San Pedro. This San Pedro we used to eat here in Mexico. I love eating San Pedro, for example. I didn't know. How did I know? It's actually a great San Pedro. Like, that's actually a great cactus. Wow. Another thing that I talk about in another video and more in depth, but my needs and my wants. When you are on this kind of like traveling journey, you're gonna see that, like, if you are not following what you wanna, like what you really in your heart wants to do, if you're not doing that, you are gonna end up in really bad places, which I've done. And I have a plenty of videos out there to see that I actually did. Once I ended up in a jail in Jakarta on my way to Bali, for example, because I couldn't stand up for myself. I didn't know my needs. I couldn't set my boundaries. I was just like completely super vulnerable. In 2012, my father passed away, and ever since then, I really live my life, or I do as good as I can, I would say, to live my life in the best way possible, because I know that inside of me, I want that, and one day can just like disappear. It can go really fast. So living my day like it were my last, and of course, it's like some days you're sick and some days you're exhausted because you did something, but living from that kind of like mind space where, you know what, I'm gonna do the things that I really want to do, because when I'm on my deathbed, I know that I've done my best. Here is very important to not compare yourself to other people, but I've done my best. I've done in the capacity of what I was capable of, and I lived as big as I could. And I have nothing that I can regret, because I remember when my father passed, and I know that he was regretting a lot of stuff where he maybe didn't do everything that he wanted to do. So that gift of like living life, beautiful. One thing that's really, really, really important is clarity. Many times when we travel around, and I should be really honest, when we travel around, we get so much possibilities. There's like, I see possibilities everywhere literally. And it's important to get clarity, because sometimes people see no possibilities while I see them everywhere. But it's also, that can make you confused. It can put you in a place of like, oh, I have so many things to do. What do I want to do here? But instead, getting clear on what you actually want and what you actually want to go for traveling can then either do the opposite, or where makes you super confused and you end up in a really bad place because you can't take decision for yourself. Or you end up with like, you know what, I've seen all of this stuff here and I don't want to do that. I want to do this thing here. This thing here is something that I really, really would like to do. And it gives you clarity, and then you can go. And you know what? Before clarity comes, there's always some sort of chaos. So before that, there must be some sort of chaos, and that can actually be good, where it kind of like stirs up a lot of stuff. And then it brings you to a place of like, this is where I'm going to. So allowing yourself to be in a sort of like a chaos sometimes could be a really good thing, if you know, because in chaos comes opportunity. Like in all of this, the biggest companies in the world were all created in chaos, in a depression, when everything was shit, everything was down, and boom, there comes something new. And that's the same with your life and my life and everyone's out here. So traveling might not be for everyone. Maybe that is not for everyone, but I'm talking a lot about the 5D new earth that comes in, the 5D new earth life. And to live in that frequency, you kind of like got to have seen something around earth. Because what's going to really matter in the future is the person who has the most experiences. The person that knows and actually has gone through all of this stuff. And the more you have gone through, and the more you've been with other people, the more you experienced life, the more value you have, the more people would give you authority, and therefore you can lead. You can create your business, you can do things. But if you haven't traveled, dude, there's gonna be kind of like a world where we are already connected, but it's gonna be a world where the people with the most experiences and the most traveling and the most kind of like done the things with the most people around the world is gonna have the most knowledge about self. Because when you travel, you meet yourself in other people all around the world, and that's freaking super cool. Please don't forget to subscribe. That means a lot to me, so we can grow this channel up. And if there's something that you want to know or you are wondering about, you can comment down below as usual. And if not, I see you in the next video.